Hi guys, it's me, Indiana Jones, and we're live on a Monday night. Why? Because it's the 31st. It's May-o-ween. Don't get your weenies and mustard and mayo and stuff like that, even though you might have had one for today, Memorial Day weekend. So before we get started, let's thank all the veterans out there for their service and also for those who are fallen and their families. Thank you. We truly, there's nothing that can be said to appreciate the sacrifice that has been done by our soldiers and our men and women in uniform. So thank you again, and thank you to the families. We salute you. And thank you guys for being here on a Monday night. I'm not going to make this it's not going to be a very long night. I'm tired. I am tired. I'm suffering from PMS, project making syndrome. I'm serious, guys. I'm like overwhelmed with all the projects I have to do for the next week or two. Anyway, but I have fun. It's just I feel rushed all the time. But anyway, let's not talk any further about that. I hope you're all doing well. Say hi to everybody. Hi, guys. And yes, I am wearing my Cruella de Vil jacket because why not? Where else am I going to wear it to? So I might as well wear it here since the premiere was this weekend. I already heard some spoilers, and I'm so glad I didn't spend $30. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. The visuals are beautiful. The music is great, but that's all I'm saying. Hi, Cruella. Yes. Hi, Beverly. How are you doing? All right. So we have a special guest. You know who our special guest is. She is magical. She's mystical. She knows all things spooky. So we're going to talk about some spooky, scary women like Cruella de Vil, of course. And here she is, the one and only, the lovely Lern the Conjurer.
Yay! Hey, everyone!
We kind of matched today.
We do kind of match. We got the memo.
I know. You look lovely. Who are you dressed as?
Thank you. You also look just ravishingly evil. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, I have my design here. Wait, I have to bring in my design here. There
of course you do. That's incredible. If everyone hasn't seen that video, by the way, on how she put this together, please don't watch it right now because we want to keep you here. But
yeah, stay here. And by the way, if you don't know about Lern the Conjurer, her channel link is right below in the description. And if anybody wants to share it, please share it. Hi, Tiffany. We got Tiffany and Jackie and Effie and Pam and Sarah and Teresa. And who else do we got here?
Everybody's here. Look at that.
Everybody's here. Cheryl, Would If I Could, John C. How are you doing? Beverly, just saying hi to everybody. Oh, my goodness. We got a lot of people.
Hi,
hey, Pam. A lot of people. Patty, Tiffany. Oh, my goodness. Marsha. Sue. Hey, Sue. You and Sue just did a collaboration, didn't you?
Sue and I?
Yeah.
No, I did a collaboration with Sarah from Jujubee DIY.
Right.
But I love Sue. I do follow her stuff. And I've been appreciating all the stuff that she's been sharing with us. Really, because of you, Annie, I've been meeting a lot of people in the DIY community.
Thank you. Yay! I'm so happy. I know. I was so happy when I saw that you're collaborating. I'm like, oh, look at her. She's getting around. Love it. That's so cool.
It's been so fun. I really have been enjoying it. And obviously, I'm so excited to be back for May-o-ween. Yes, we're not bringing mayo. It's just a fun play on words.
Yes.
So you asked me who I'm dressed as. I am dressed as Medea from Jason and the Argonauts, not Medea from Tyler Perry. Totally different.
Different Medea, guys. Different Medea.
No, not wrong Medea. So if you don't know the Greek mythology story of Jason and the Argonauts, Medea is Jason's wife. She becomes forsaken in the story. I guess I won't give it away, even though it's thousands of years old, but spoiler, she becomes forsaken and decides to act on revenge against her husband by murdering their children. And so I am dressed as Medea, as a deadly woman.
Dang, that went dark. That went dark. That's the problem. I hate to say it now, guys. I did some research like a couple of weeks ago. I started doing some research on like spooky, scary women. Ugh.
Yeah, I'll say that.
Ugh.
It's pretty heavy. It's all really heavy stuff, guys.
Yeah, so we decided, I picked two women, she picked two women. Hers are two women from, it's myth and lore, kind of. You know, there's a little bit of history in it, a little bit of myth and lore. Minor too, also that it's history. We tried not. Oh my gosh, we got $4.99. We got to do monkey dance. Monkey dance. I need a monkey dance too. My back is killing me. Monkey dance, monkey dance.
Let the
monkey
vertebrae
dance,
loose.
monkey
Yeah,
dance.
yeah.
With this jacket, look. I wanna rock with you all night. I'm like Michael Jackson.
This is going to be a concert now. Hello, everyone.
That's a perfect song for today. Who's bad? Cause I'm bad. I'm bad. I'm really, really bad. Oh, yeah.
Sit down, Annie. Sit down.
I need that. My back is killing me from crafting all day.
Yes, and so Annie is going to be taking a break, everyone, from crafting in this video, okay?
Well, I mean, I'm crafting, but off camera because I have to get ahead for stuff that I got to turn in.
That's basically what it is, and I think
off camera.
I think we all can excuse it. Like I think that everyone here knows just how hard you've been working, and I know that we just appreciate you just being in our lives. But in the meanwhile, I will be painting on camera while we're talking, so at least you have something to look at.
I will show you what I'm working with though, because this is fun stuff. This is from folk art from the Plaid family of products. Look, this is called color shift. Have you ever seen this?
No, it looks like it looks like a metallic, almost like a holographic.
It's like a holographic metallic-y kind of thing. And then I'm going to use something else that they call dragonfly glaze. Get ready for this one. If you don't have this, Lern, look at this.
I need.
Right? Look at that.
I have a mighty need.
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. And then they have this glitterific. Glitterific.
Ooh, I love the glitterific stuff.
Isn't that cool? Hey, are you a Plaid ambassador yet?
No. I need to look into that. There's a lot of guys, I'll admit, I'm really bad at this game of figuring out how to be an ambassador for things. Really, it's been because everyone else has been making videos and has been talking about it that I've been introduced to things like Plaid, BB Craft, you know, other ones like that. So I will be looking into it though, because honestly, Annie, the stuff that I've been seeing looks really, really good.
Let's talk. We'll talk later on Instagram tomorrow, so I can tell you how to become a Plaid ambassador. I feel like the Plaid ambassador god fairy, fairy godmother, fairy godmother. I would love to be a Plaid. I will tell you. So Sue, we'll talk about that. Plaid's gonna hate me because they're like, Annie, please shut up already about talking about everybody being Plaid.
No, never.
No, they're very cool. And once you get on there and you start using their products, you're going to love it. So
I'm so stoked.
Let's talk some spooky women. Who are you going to talk about?
Yes. So first of all, I want to say at the very top, just as Annie was saying a little bit earlier, just so everyone knows, some of this content can be a little triggering. So what I'm going to say at the top before I start speaking about the first lady that I'm speaking of is this speaks about child murder. So if this does bother you, I completely understand if you want to tune out for a little bit. But if it helps, this is a lore that was mostly a mechanic to be a boogeyman for children. So if this helps at all, then I would love for you to stay. But I care about everyone's mental health. So that being said, let's talk about, forgive me because I'm not of Hispanic or Latinx origin, but I'm talking about the origin of the lore of La Llorona, which is...
You did it perfect.
Oh, thank you. I practiced all day.
My Sharona, La Llorona. You did it perfect.
Thank you. Yay. Well, it means in English, the weeping woman. So if you've heard of La Llorona before, it is a urban legend about a woman who supposedly was known to be a sort of like a boogeyman of sorts to children from the earliest times of Mexico. So according to, as far back as research is documented, this lore does come from Mexico, but it actually has been rumored that this lore had to do with the construction of what would be Mexican Republic today. So it's kind of interesting. Apparently, this does kind of sit a little bit in the politics of early Mexico. And
Ooh.
some people even argue that this story comes from Aztec origins as well. Now, there's
Yes,
a lot of
I've heard that.
yes, and there's a lot of origin stories that I think we can get into for that, but I'm just going to give the meat and potatoes of what we can expect from this type of lore. Now, what I can say is that in the lore of La Llorona, it is a story about a woman who marries a man that is quote unquote a higher status than she is.
Right.
So she marries higher than her status. And this man who she marries is kind of like a businessman. So he's always gone, you know, he's always out. He's never quite home, but he's home enough for them to get married. And then later they produce 2 children. Now, the thing is that this woman stays at home all day, all night with the children, takes care of the children, doesn't have any issues, you know, about being a single mom, I guess, but misses the fact that she doesn't have her husband with her. So it turns out that her husband is kind of terrible in the sense of he's a womanizer. So he starts not really showing up at the house anymore, you know, and what ends up happening is that his most recent trip to the home turns into, hello, meet my mistress.
Ooh.
So obviously this really makes this woman very scorned and makes her upset.
Hell hath no fury.
Yeah. So, you know, I mean, like, I think anyone here can understand that. So in order to exact revenge, because she is so angry and so upset over how this happened to her, she decides that the only way she can get back at her husband is to drown her children. And so she takes them down to the riverbed, drowns them. And the story goes that either she takes her own life right afterwards, or in like her hysteric stupor, she basically trips, falls, and dies. Now, to this day, it is an urban legend that is observed and is actually widely believed by the citizens of Mexico. Now, I've spoken to a couple of people that either their family is from Mexico or they themselves are from Mexico, and they truly believe that La Llorona is real. And the stories they've told me
of your kids, and they'll come and take your kids.
Yes, and that's the thing, because they a lot of my friends who grew up to be told the story, they were told that it was kind of like a way to be like, don't go near riverbeds, like stay away from the river, or don't leave the house at night, because it's said that in the nighttime by the river, if you live there, if you hear the sounds of a woman crying or a woman screaming out, ay mi hijos, which is, oh, my children in Spanish, it means that La Llorona is close by. And it's said that if you hear her, impending danger is coming to you. Supposedly, if she finds you, she is to replace you with the children that she murdered. Ooh. So that's the lore.
That is scary. I have to point out, we have a visitor from Australia, guys. This is too cool. Welcome, Fiona Jane. That is so cool. Thank you for showing up. I'm so glad you're here. If you have a channel, please let us know so that we can share your channel. Thank you so much for being here. That is so cool.
Yes.
Hi, Fiona. Everything. Hi, Fiona. So welcome. I hadn't seen you here before. So who are you drawing? Are you drawing La Llorona?
So I decided I wanted to just kind of paint almost like a generic portrait, but what I'm going to do is I'm painting a lady, but when I'm finished, she's going to be covered in blood.
Lovely.
And she's holding a knife. You just can't tell. So lovely. Beautiful, right? What a lovely Monday night.
Lovely. So I'm going to talk about Juliana Tofana.
Oh.
Juliana Tofana. Have you guys heard about Juliana Tofana? Or as we like to know it as Aqua Tofana? Aqua Tofana. You know, when you want to knock them dead, just use Aqua Tofana. So I heard about this story from Bailey Sarian. Yes, Bailey, I'm sorry I'm copying you, but it's a story that's out there. So I thought, you know, this is a deadly woman. Let me tell you something. Peeps. She is the most prolific serial killer known. Other than what was her name? Duchess Bathory?
Oh, Elizabeth Bathory, yes.
Elizabeth Bathory. Was she a duchess or countess? Countess.
Hmm.
Countess Bathory. Elizabeth Bathory. She is also, yeah, she's pretty bad. But she's kind of like, what was that guy? Dexter? It's kind of
Oh,
like a
yes.
Dexter type of character where she did bad things, but it was kind of like, oh,
Oh, but
wasn't.
he's so likable.
Yeah, apparently she was very likable. So, oh, you're welcome, of course. Love your wigs, lady. I need a wig, right? So Giuliana Tofana lived in 17th century Italy. And what she did was she created an elixir called Aqua Tofana. And she sold it as a beauty product. Get this. Brilliant, okay? Brilliant. So her whole thing is that this Aqua Tofana would, if you put it on your skin, apparently it would, kind of bring a little bit of youthfulness, and it did that because it had poison. It had poison in it. And it was she was struggling with work and stuff like that. And basically, yeah, she was just using this, it was a very rare poison. It was colorless, it was tasteless. They still don't know what it is, and it could
Yeah.
not be detected. But apparently it was almost like, I don't know if you guys know that there's arsenic. Is it arsenic or cyanide in nail polish sometimes? There used to be.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's wild. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So it was the same thing. They used to have like dangerous stuff and material and like stuff that you would use. Um, but yeah, so she did that, and what happened is that she started to figure out that this was a perfect poison because it was odorless, it was tasteless, it was it had no trace of it at all. But what happened is that your victim wouldn't die right away.
Mm.
So these ladies, because back then, we're talking about the 17th century, people, okay? We women were nothing but slaves, basically. Even the rich
Yes.
women. So this is for the rich women. They were married off as part of like, okay, I want to buy
Dowry.
your land or you're on my land and I want to, take over your business and stuff like that. I want my son to have your business and okay, yes, my son has to marry your daughter. And it didn't matter how old they were, they were just sold. Women were just sold left and right. It didn't matter if they were happy, if they were beaten. And a lot of these women were abused and beaten, as you can imagine. And they were cheated on and all that stuff. You know, you know how it is. It hasn't changed in centuries. So she came up with this aqua tofana. And what it was this slow killing poison. So somebody would drink it. They would be fine for the first couple of days, and all of a sudden they started getting sick and ill and ill. And it probably would take like 2 or 3 weeks. It could even take a couple of months, depending on how much of the poison the woman would use. Now, she was very discreet and she was very clear on instructions on how to kill your husband. It was like, just give him a few drops a day. Like, don't give him the whole bottle because then it's going to be like he's dead. Boom, now there's
What are you
suspicion.
gonna do?
What are you going to do? So all of a sudden, these men just started dying off. And it was cool. I mean, what was cool is that many of these women, after they had children and they had like a male heir, of course, everything would go to their child. So, I mean, they were covered, they were covered because then they were in charge of, the child and, put in like in trust of until the child was old enough to really manage the money or the business or whatever. So it did have, from what I understand, it did have arsenic, like early, like arsenic and other poisonous materials that were natural, it was homeopathic poison. What can I tell you? Most poison is homeopathic. I mean, not homeopathic, but it was, homegrown. So basically, that's what she would do is help to kill. And they would put in the tea, they would put in the food. And yeah, basically, again, back then women couldn't get divorced and they couldn't live on their own and all that stuff. But from what they understand and from her records, because she was a very good businesswoman, just like Countess Bathory, Elizabeth Bathory, who kept records. I guess these rich women knew how to keep records. She, it's estimated she killed around 600 men. 600.
That's a lot. in a
That's a
very
lot.
small amount of time.
Within like, I think it was only within 10 years or something.
Yeah, like that is an entire village of people.
Yeah. Well, no, actually her career lasted 50 years until she was well into old age, and she passed on the poison to her daughters.
Yes.
Keep it in the
This I
family,
do
girls,
wonder.
you know? So, yeah, 600 victims.
How about that?
Interesting. Interesting. And she had operations all over Italy, in Rome and Naples, in what's it, Palermo. I'm trying to look at all trying to remember all the things. But
I
yeah,
liked
so,
that. Yeah, that she was very exclusive almost, like she was kind of
yes.
like the whisper of the town, like is she a real person? Does she really exist? And I think that that's probably largely why she got away with it for as long as she did.
Yes, because she would move around from one town to the next. And of course, and again, everything was kept hush hush. And the thing is, I like to kill with kindness, very organized. Yeah. The thing is that the women that she helped were women of power. So they were not going to turn this woman in.
No.
They were going to protect her at all costs because they were part of it as well. It's not that like they were not innocent either,
Yeah, they
They
didn't
were
want to
not
get turned
innocent
in.
either. So yeah, so that's Aqua Tofana, and that was what she would call it. It was Aqua Tofana. It was water of Tofana because her name was Juliana Tofana. But we all love to say Aqua Tofana. Yeah,
How can you not? How can
I
you not?
know, I know, and I loved it. I remember when Bailey came out with that story, and I remember commenting like I did all these things like knock him dead with Aqua Tofana. Be the last woman he'll ever love with Aqua
With
Tofana. Those
Aquafina.
kind of things because it's just like it was like again, it was a beauty product.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
why would
beauty,
anyone suspect that?
beauty kills. What can we say? Beauty can be deadly, and some men don't realize that.
No. I wonder if any of them do now.
They do now, exactly. They do now.
I tell ya. I'm not able to. I'm trying to see the chat, but I'm having some issues on my.
I'll look for it. I'll put things up here. I'll put things up so we can
Oh,
talk
thank you. I
so
just
we
want
can
to
talk to
see.
people. Hey Annie, so we got Steve C. Let's start from the beginning here. True. Discovering the hearts of the but when you do, they were vicious. Dexter was hot too. Okay, that helped. Yeah. Hey Steve C. Hey Marsha. The perfect poison. Yes. Women, and it's women. It's interesting because women. Thanks for a great story and a great backstory. You never heard of this before. I know I had never heard of it before until I watched Bailey's Arian. Now Bailey's Arian is going to start a new. Did you hear about her new series now?
Yes, I'm so excited.
Dark History. I am so excited to hear that.
I'm so
You should
excited.
always read the instructions. Yes, people, always, always, always read the instructions.
Yeah, no, I'm glad that we're bringing her up because obviously, if you want to learn the entire history behind that
Yes,
Aquafina,
she
definitely
does.
watch her video. It's very good entertainment despite the subject matter.
But she's very well versed. She's very well versed in her subject matter.
Oh, her research is ironclad.
Oh
It's
yeah.
some of the best stuff I've seen. And that being said, I did attribute my next talking point to her as well, along with my own research. But I also, when I was looking up actual real research for La Llorona, I managed to find it through one of my favorite podcasts. They're called Believer Skeptic podcasts. And
Yeah.
what they do is they talk about a paranormal topic, and one of them believes it, one of them doesn't. So like they discuss their reasonings and like talk about stories and stuff. So they did cover La Llorona in one of their episodes. So of course I was like, oh well, this is great. This is fantastic information. So all these things that we're talking about, some other people have definitely covered it and have covered it even more existentially. So if you're interested in any of these topics, please look it up yourself because they're really very interesting and quite creepy. Belladonna is a homeopathic remedy too, but it can kill you too. Yes, it certainly
We
can.
all learned that from Practical Magic. That's one of my favorite movies, Practical
Yes.
Magic. Love that movie. I pray they don't redo it.
I'm hoping to.
Let me tell you. Okay, can I vent?
Go ahead. You vent.
So I watched one of the reviews, and unfortunately, I didn't notice that it had spoilers for Cruella. Did you watch Cruella yet?
No, I haven't seen it yet. Are there spoilers?
I'm not gonna say anything.
Oh,
I'm just doing the face. 10 for costuming, 10 for makeup, 10 for music. Storyline.
is Boo?
When I heard the storyline, I'm like, oh, please, Disney, please don't tell me you did that. And they apparently they did, and I'm like, I don't want to watch it now. That's
Well,
how
now
sad.
I'm gonna have to look for it because that's the thing is I did have some concern about it. I didn't look into it, of course, but I had some concerns. So
Yeah,
obviously now I'm a little scared. I did want a YouTuber of some form to cover all of her looks because if
yeah,
nothing else, I just want the fashion from it, you know?
yes, yeah. Well, they have a fashion featurette, so you can watch that.
Oh,
But
great.
it just shows like sneak peeks, and that's where I got this jacket from. Was from the fashion featurette.
Yes.
Everybody just sees the red dress, but she's got other costumes, really cool costumes and stuff.
Oh gosh.
But
Okay.
yeah, but I'm a little sad. Wow, and she kept notes. I'm trying to put up everybody's.
And she kept notes. Ah.
Did she ever get caught? No, she didn't. She did not get caught. There was suspicion, but I don't think there was enough evidence because they couldn't really
They couldn't
think that it
pin
was
her to
her.
it.
Yeah.
Well, and back in those times too, like, you know, crime research was nothing.
Yeah,
Not
exactly.
anything like we have now, you know?
Yeah.
Oh.
I
Ah,
need I need to step up my costumes. Oh, you're so cute. All right. So thank you guys. Thank you all for commenting.
yes, thank you. Would you like me to now talk about my next lady?
Go ahead. You can talk
Okay.
about anything you want to talk about.
Okay. Well, I'm going to talk about how much I love Annie. So I love Annie because
Oh, stop it. I love you too. This has been like the
oh,
coolest collab. I forgot how I met you, but I'm so happy that,
oh,
happened
I'm
since.
so happy I met you too. Well, I remember it was because of Sue from Discovering the Art of
That's
Living.
right. It was because of Sue. Thank you, Sue.
Sue rocks. I love Sue.
She's
She's
awesome.
um so I am going to talk about a subject matter which I say first, Bailey Sarian also covered this subject. She covers it.
She covered everything, people.
She's,
Let's face it.
she's covered everything, to be perfectly honest with you. I should preface this by saying that she covered the historical fact behind this topic, but also I covered it in one of my videos in my channel where I paint and talk about the entity. So if you want to see that video, feel free to head over to my channel whenever you feel so confident too. But basically, what we're talking
That's
about
right. You did. I remember that. Yes.
what we are talking about next is the subject of, I believe everyone has dealt with when they went to a sleepover growing up. And no, it's not a Ouija board. It's Bloody Mary. So, Bloody Mary, when we first say that, we're going to immediately think that it's a game that we play in a bathroom where we say her name however many times and then she appears and either scratches you or, you know, she like scares you or she's bloody and she has a baby in her hand. There's a bunch of different there's a bunch of very different stories that go along with her, but she actually was a real person. And as a matter of fact, there are a few incantations of Bloody Mary, but perhaps the most popular that and most well known is about Queen Regent Mary of the Tudors era.
Yes.
So if everyone hasn't known anything about the Tudors and medieval history, buckle up, Buttercup, because this is real rough. So, to start off, in the very early 1500s, King Henry VIII was married to Catherine of Aragon, who was from Spain.
Yes.
Now, Catherine was considerably older than Henry at the time. I think she was at least 18 years older than him. This was powerful. Which was kind of common though back then. You know, people would be married at all sorts of ages, and that was just the way it was. But King Henry VIII and Catherine of Aragon, their first child was Mary. And Mary had, oh my God, I was mortified to be in the bathroom alone at night because of Bloody Mary. Yeah, I'm with you there too. Oh no. Oh no, Jacques. Oh no. See, that's why I didn't do it. Because I was like, I'm not going to do it.
Don't play with those things. Don't play with them things.
Yeah, that's the thing is like, as it says with my name, I kind of believe that most things are conduits for bad stuff. So I just chose not to do it. And a lot of my friends would call me a scaredy cat, but look who's here making a YouTube channel safe in their house now, I tell you. So
Yes.
anyway, basically, Mary was born as the first child to King Henry VIII and Catherine. Now, the thing was Catherine was a devout Catholic who
Yes.
believed that she was meant to bear a son because, unfortunately, Mary was not considered a legitimate heir to take over the throne of England, which is quite sad, obviously, because later on in the Tudors era, a woman would take over as Queen Regent,
Yep.
but I digress. Now, the thing that happened with Mary is she was in fact very close to her mother, was also very Catholic, but Henry, her father, didn't really spend a lot of time with her, was mostly engrossed in the matters of England, but also engrossed in having a male heir. Now, when it came down to it, Henry decided he had all these mistresses, right? And still couldn't produce a male heir. Produced one, but apparently he didn't live for very long. He was considered a bastard. So it really wasn't working out well for him. So he meets in his court a considerable year, like around the time where Mary was probably 12, Anne Boleyn, which I'm sure you might have heard of Anne Boleyn, but I'll talk a little bit more about her.
Anne of 1,000 days.
Yes, indeed. He meets Anne Boleyn and decides that he wants to divorce Catherine on grounds of clearly God is punishing them because he is not Catholic and she was. And so they were cursed and could not produce a male heir. And also she could not become pregnant. Right. Yes, Harry is a total wanker. I totally agree. Girl aesthetic.
I just had to put that. I thought that was hilarious.
That is hysterical. So, of course, he's like claiming that it's all God's fault. And because of that, he wants a divorce. Now, listen, everybody. Divorce back then was, like there was nothing that you could do to aid yourself in the sin that you were swimming in if you even muttered the word divorce. And here's Henry saying, well, obviously I need a divorce. It's quite obvious. That's exactly what's happening here. I need a divorce.
That's how the Anglican Church started, people. Isn't it?
Yeah. And I mean, really, his defense was if, God will grant him this divorce because obviously he needs it because he can't produce a king for the future. Right. So he decides that he's going to go ahead and on these grounds work to, yes, Sarah, I am also obsessed with England. I'm glad.
So am I. Oh my gosh, that's all I watch is English TV shows.
It's really just so interesting. Everything from England, and they're so lovely. I just I do that all the time. Anyway, back to Mary. You see, she's dealing with the fact that her father wants to divorce her mother. And this is not boding well for Mary because this is now going to make her even more illegitimate to the throne that she is promised.
Right.
Now, the entire time, her mother is saying, don't worry, Mary, like God can't change blood. You're going to grow and you're going to be in this throne. Well, unfortunately, to Catherine's dismay, Henry would get his way, and so he would get a granted divorce from Parliament, and he was able to divorce Catherine. Now, he then, in turn, along with Anne Boleyn, banished Catherine to the far other side of the country and made it so that Mary and Catherine could no longer see one another. And that's pretty devastating, as I'm sure you can imagine. Imagine that you couldn't see your mother, So, this really devastated Mary, and she had to grow up not really seeing her mother. And unfortunately, it was only from the time that Mary had turned 17 years old, Catherine became deathly ill and then suddenly passed on. And she wasn't able to see her own mother. So she couldn't say goodbye to her. It was really quite tragic. Now, at the same time, Mary, from the time that she started getting a menstrual cycle, was experiencing terrible, terrible cycles. Now, I'm not going to get too far into it because obviously,
There are
I
men
want it to be
present.
fun.
We don't want to make the men queasy.
No, but it was real bad, as I'm sure I don't need to, draw a picture for you as I'm literally doing right now. So, that being said, she was not having a good time. And it seemed that everyone knew about how Mary had terrible periods. And they almost kept it as a rumor with her, saying that God was punishing her for
Yes.
trying to take the throne of England. Well, this infuriated Mary. And so she would then become someone who was obsessed with becoming a legitimate queen regent. And so she then became the wife of Prince Philip of Spain. Now, he was also the prince of all these other territories of the time, but Spain was, of course, the biggest thing for her because her mother was also from Spain.
Right.
Now, he was much older than her.
England and Spain were, at that point, they were close. And
yes.
Then Henry, mucked up everything.
Mucked it all up because he wanted to be married to whoever he wanted to be married to. And, it figures that when she
just like a man, he let the loins take over.
Yes, indeed. And the thing was that Mary, when she married Prince Philip, all she wanted was to produce a male heir. She wanted to beat all of the stereotypes of all these rumors of what everyone was thinking that she was like. Now, sadly, I'm sure if she was seeing a doctor to today's standards, it would be found that she clearly had ovarian cancer.
Right.
And she was unable to become pregnant or at least produce a child full term. So Mary then, she marries Prince Philip. They consummate their marriage. She says she's pregnant.
Yes, I remember this. Yes.
Yes. And Mary decides that, she's going to just scream to the rooftops, I'm pregnant, I'm going to have a son. So, of course, everyone around her kingdom is spreading rumors, being like, do you really think she's pregnant? Well, it seems that she was having all the signs for being pregnant. Her belly swelled, she was glowing, her period stopped.
And there is a scientific fact that when a woman believes herself to be pregnant, it's to the point where they actually get all of the symptoms, including a belly growing, even though it's just growing with air or whatever.
Yes.
It's really freaky how the mind can control the body.
Yes. And what Annie is specifically talking about is phantom pregnancy.
Yes.
And this
it's was that you don't have phantom babies, it's just the baby.
No. That's just what happened. So basically what ended up happening in the long and short of it is very clearly she wasn't pregnant, and it caused a huge firestorm of Mary and her reputation. Coincidentally, at the same time, she decided that she was going to cause war between the Catholics and the Protestants. And so she would burn over 300 people at the stake for not being Catholic. And then so in history, she was then known as Bloody Mary. Now, Mary did unfortunately pass away of her ovarian cancer at the age of 42. So she really didn't live very long. And obviously it was really quite tragic. She just had a bad hand dealt to her. And to this day, people, talk about the lore of Bloody Mary, but they rarely know the story of true historical Bloody Mary. And so that is the tale of Mary, the Queen Regent, who sadly was tragic, couldn't have children, and is said to appear in mirrors with the child that she no longer could carry.
Exactly. Now, isn't there another correlation with Mary, Queen of Scots?
I did actually look into that, and it's not. It's actually Mary Worth, who was a Puritan woman. And this was an American story, as a matter of fact.
Oh.
So, because I thought it would be Mary, Queen of Scots, but as a matter of fact, it instead was Mary Worth of Puritan Virginia, who apparently, according to the townspeople, was a witch, because around the time that she had moved into their town, small girls were starting to go missing. And so they went to her home. They claimed that she was possessed by the devil, and they shot her with a silver bullet, and apparently she still didn't go down. So then they burned her at the stake, and they nailed her coffin shut. And to this day, you can still visit her grave. That's the shorter version of another Bloody Mary story.
That's another thing we have to go through is the Salem witch trials, which I'm sure you know a lot of.
Yes, I do. I would love to talk about that.
As do I. And it's just whoa, whoa. It's basically, Mean Girls, but in the 15th century, or no, not the 15th century, it was the 16th century, 17th century.
It's bad. It's real bad.
But real bad, real bad. So very cool. Thank you so much for that. And
Thank you, Annie.
I wanted to talk a little bit about one wacky woman, which we all know,
Oof.
Mommy Dearest herself, Joan Crawford. Now,
Woo.
Joan Crawford. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I thought you said who, and I'm like, what? What about the Bell Witch? Yeah, we got to talk about Bell Witch.
Oh,
I
yes.
know it's 2 hours away. Oh, I love it. I'm dying to go to Salem one day. So yes, so Joan Crawford, very famous actress of the 30s and 40s, beautiful back in the day, but she adopted a couple of kids, Christina and Christopher, and they were perfect little children, but she basically used them as props. That's the sad thing. She was abusive and she was nutty. She was crazy, to the point that when her daughter was old enough, her daughter was probably like 26 years old, she got very ill. Christina got very ill. Did you know the story?
Yes.
She got very ill, and all of a sudden, Joan Crawford, who is in her 60s, decides to take her place in the soap opera that she was working in.
It's horrible.
Terrible. I mean, she was bad. She's not as bad. I picked her because she's not as bad as other. I mean, she was abusive. She was emotionally abusive. She was wacky. She was
But she's
crazy.
real life.
But she was real life, and not only that, but she didn't kill her kids. Isn't that terrible? It's like, well, I picked her because she didn't kill her kids. Because there were so many that I was terrible. Researching. There were so many that I was researching, and I'm like, there are too many baby killers out there. I don't want to talk about them. They nasty. They bad. Even though we should, because But I don't like to I don't know. It gives me the heebie-jeebies.
No, I get it.
BGBs.
The Bee Gees? I love them.
The heebie-jeebies. So yeah, that's basically, I mean, I'm trying to think of what else. You guys know that Faye Dunaway did an amazing job portraying her. And then most recently, oh gosh, what's her name? I can't remember the actress's name, but she was amazing as Joan Crawford in
in the most recent TV series.
Yes, that was amazing.
Oh, that was really good. Yeah,
she was in American Horror Story. What's her name? God, I love that actress.
Is it Emma Roberts? No.
I gotta look it up. Hold on.
Someone help us.
Hold on. I'm gonna look it up. American Horror. Jessica Lange.
Oh my God.
Jessica Lange.
Oh, thank you so much, Marcia.
Jessica Lange. Good. I like movie recommendations. Yes. Hi, Ray. How are you doing? Have you seen? Yeah, Mommy Dearest will really mess you up because you're like, what? No, not Ratchet. It wasn't the girl who plays Ratchet. It was Jessica Lange. Jessica Lange is amazing.
Yeah. You know what, Annie? I'm glad that you said that about the movie, because I remember being really sick one night, and I remember waking up. I probably was 11, I was old enough to know what was happening on the TV, but too young to know this movie. And I remember waking up in the middle of the night, being really sick, and just being I'll turn on the TV to try to go to sleep. And I guess whatever channel I left it on was playing Mommy Dearest at 2 a.m. And it specifically was the wire hanger scene.
Oh my gosh, you must have freaked out when you woke up.
I didn't go to sleep. I was so scared. And then the next day, as soon as I heard my mom's alarm go off in the next room, I ran to her room and I hugged her. I was like, Mom, I watched this terrible movie, because it was horrible.
It is. Well, I mean, it's horrible as a movie, and you can imagine in the book, she probably doesn't even touch upon half of the stuff that actually went on.
Oh, I doubt it. Thank you, Steve.
It's very, very sad. Very, very sad. Let's see. Had to be TNT or TBS, Lern. Okay.
Probably. You're probably right.
Yeah, I'm sure. And I mean, even recently, we had those kids that disappeared from the Utah family. What was it, that lady?
Yes.
And then they found them.
Oh. I think that was Susan Cox Powell. I think. Because that was the one where like they didn't find the children and then they found them in the. Oh wait, no, I'm thinking of something totally different. Oh my God, guys, no, that's so dark. I forget what I just said because that's in a really, really dark place. That's like true crimey, you know. Because that's another thing is that I'm sure Annie can attest.
Hey, Halloween Heathen, how are you doing?
Hi. I love your
Halloween
name.
Heathen. Check out Lern. You got to check out her channel. Have you been on her? Have you heard of Halloween Heathen?
No, I haven't, and now I'm going to find out because I must know.
Somebody else that you can collaborate with. Oh, and Jackson Slaughter says you look beautiful, Lern.
Thank you, Jackson. Oh my goodness.
Got married and the kids disappeared. Yep.
Yes.
Is that who you're talking about? Wait, who are you talking about? Now I got to look that up.
Susan Cox Powell is an awful story. It was yes, we do, Teresa. Yeah. I keep forgetting that you're in Orlando. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's for one thing, for those of you that are interested in true crime, it's definitely one of those things that has a lot of documentation on it. So you could probably look it up on Hulu and find at least one documentary on it. It was in recent history in the last, I'd say 10 years. And it's a pretty tragic story about a wife who was murdered by her husband, and the husband then decides to murder the children and then himself later on.
Oh, is he the one? Wait. Okay, no, but I know there's so many stories like that. It's horrible.
Oh, I know. And that's what's even worse is why are there so many of these stories?
And it's like, and you know, it's always funny because I watched that chapter. I don't know if you watched that chapter.
Yeah, I did.
And I love that one because I love his accent. I guess he's like Scottish or Irish. I can't
yeah, it's definitely like a northern UK accent for sure. Yes. Yeah, Jackie, I know exactly what you're talking about.
These people, it's sad. Hi, Denise. It's just sad when you watch all these stories and you're like, what comes over people? What about the guy, Scott? What was his name? Scott
Peterson.
The other Scott. There was two Scotts. There was Scott Peterson. The other one that killed the wife and the two girls. And his wife was
Oh my God. Yes. That was like what? That was like 4 years ago. Like
4 years ago. 4 years ago. Wasn't his name Scott as well? No.
I think it was either Scott or Chris. One of those.
Chris. It was Chris. Oh,
crime
it was like the minute I saw that on TV, I was like, oh, he did it. He did it. He did it. He did it. I was like,
no.
The minute I saw that, I was like, oh, this is Scott Peterson all over again. This is Scott Peterson all over again. Susan Smith. Are we talking about Susan Smith?
We might be. Honestly, isn't it terrible that I can't even keep up with all the victims?
That's what's sad. That is what's sad. Awesome job, Lern. That is cool. Let me see. Wait a second. Let me put you on the big screen. Let me put you on the big screen here because I didn't craft anything. I was crafted out today. I mean, I was crafting. I was making things. I was making stuff. I was doing something. I was painting something. I was painting. I'll show you. I was painting shells for a video. That is cool. I love it.
Thanks.
That's scary.
I'm spooky. She looks like she's got a little something on her. I better go clean her up.
Yes, you should. Do you know that usually Cubans do not take shells home? Did you know that? You cannot pick up shells.
Why?
You cannot pick up shells. If you're a little kid and you pick up shells, you do not bring those shells home. Can you imagine living in Miami, little kid, picking up shells, and you can't bring them home?
No one ever told me that. Why?
Because they believe there are santeros, and santeros use shells for their conjuring. So sometimes they throw their shells on the beach for cleansing, and it's like if you pick up the shell, you're picking up whatever is left over if it didn't get cleansed right. Did you know this?
No, of course I didn't know. And I'm from Miami too. How did I not know that?
Yeah.
Well, now I feel like I learned something new today.
Good night, Jackson. Yeah, you know the santeros or brujeros. That's the difference. There's santeros and brujeros. You've heard of those.
I've heard of those, but I didn't know about the shells, and that makes a lot of sense.
Ooh. That's why I remember being a kid. My girl was like, "Don't bring them in the house," and I'm like,
But they're so fun. Look at this one. It's colorful.
I know. She's like, don't worry. Like, it was okay if you bought it from a store, but if you picked it up from like I still buy my shells in a store. I can go to the beach and pick them up for free. Nope. Buy them at the dollar store.
Oh, man.
Lori Vallow. Man. Yes, that was the biatch. Lori Vallow.
That's who it was. Oh, man. See, I feel like we could probably talk about true crime in one of these, Annie, and just like go crazy. But that's definitely one where everyone who comes to see it would have to really be prepared.
Yes, Halloween Heathen. So Halloween Heathen, I am celebrating Halloween the 31st of every month. So Lern and I get together on the 31st of every month and we do dress up. I'm dressed up, of course, as Cruella because I have this awesome cool jacket. Thank you. Totally Dazzled for all my totally dazzling things that I have on my and wow, that's interesting. But yes, so Halloween Heathen, if you want to join us, we can have another guest.
That would be so fun.
You have to look at when is the next 31st? Do you know? I
think July.
July? Okay, July 31st. So we're getting close to Halloween.
I know, I'm so excited. And July is when usually the Halloween stuff comes out. So yes. I'm really excited.
Yes, because usually in July, Christmas stuff comes out, so also the Halloween stuff. Hello, excuse me. I was in Hobby Lobby the other day. We're still in May. This was 2 weeks ago. Hobby Lobby, they already had fall stuff. May. This is the earliest I've ever seen it. May.
I'm astounded.
They had pumpkins. They had leaves. They had candles. They had garland. They had it all. And then they had like end caps with Christmas.
Oh, no. No. That's no.
May. Well, I mean, Christmas in July is right around the corner. So you best believe that by tomorrow, if you go to Hobby Lobby, I bet you anything, it's going to be filled with Christmas stuff.
I can't believe that. I don't know. Like, I believe that people should just like what they like and be able to celebrate whenever they want. But that's a little too soon for me. I don't know.
It is. Anyway, yay. I know. Crazy. They're putting up the Christmas stuff. Yes, it's crazy. Yes. Hobby Lobby. What? Here has Christmas out now. See?
Oh, no.
But in a way, you can get started with your Christmas crafts and your Halloween crafts.
Yeah, I guess like the only ones who really benefit from that are us, right? Because then, because the crafters do. But everyone else though, Linda, you look crazy buying your tinsel in May.
I know, right? Unless it's on sale or something. But anyway, I want to thank you guys for coming here tonight and sharing May-o-ween with us, where we had some spooky stories of some spooky ladies. I want to thank Lern for being our spooky, you're my spooky consultant, kind of. You're like the queen of all things spooky. You're like our sweet blonde, like Elvira,
Thank you.
But you have like historical spooky stuff. That's what I love, is that it's historical spooky stuff. So it's
even creepier when
it is even creepier. Yes, it is even creepier when you learn about all these lores. So I like the way you say goodbye to everybody, because it's something very important that we should all do if we get into the supernatural stuff. Okay?
Yes.
Look, I'm Catholic. I'm sorry, Catholics believe in all that mysticism. We believe in the devil, so it's like, get away, devil, get away. So you got to make sure you do things right. So go ahead, Lern.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, the way that I like to say goodbye is, first of all, I call everyone ghosties and ghoulies. So remember, ghosties and ghoulies, there are 3 rules of conjuring. Never play alone, never play in a graveyard, and always say goodbye. And that's when I say goodbye, everyone.
There you go. And as I always say, stay safe, be kind, God bless each and every one of you. And remember to live the adventure. And stay safe out there. Seriously, stay safe out there. All right, good night. And don't go to the mirror now and try that Bloody Mary thing. Please don't.
Stop. Just give her a break. She's off today.
She's off today. It's her day off. Don't do it. Don't do it. All right. Good night, guys. See you soon. Bye.